Hi there. This week Grandad has a bad cold and I need somebody to help me with the introduction.
Clarkson tool and cutter grinder, Mark 1 refurb, part 6, making a new table screw.
Perfect. Hope you enjoy it. Get serious.
Breaking news.
That'll do. Material for the screw has arrived, so I'm making a new one of these. I've prototyped in various materials, Delrin, EN16T, which is 4037, and EN24T, which is 4140, but I've gone for this one, the EN16T. So this here is just under 20 millimeters, so I've gone for 20 millimeter bar. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to machine away quite a lot to get this away from the 20, if you know what I mean, but it's just like that. Now I've found a bit of bronze, so if need be, I could probably make another nut. I'd rather not. I'm hoping to take out the backlash from making a new screw, or most of the backlash, enough. Order of events then, cut it to length, face off both ends, centre both ends, machine this part first, reverse it, put that in the 4-jaw, everything's going to be in the 4-jaw. Machine this down to size, thread it. Both ends are now faced and centred, and I'm going to machine this part next down to 1/2 inch. Now I want a clean corner on the front of this collar here, so I'm going to make that with the parting tool first, going in 3.65 millimeters, and then I'll machine this away. It's noisy because I've got the fast gears in, that's all. You can hear the steel gears ringing as they spin so quickly. That's worked out okay. And while I've got it set up like this, I'll use the parting tool to make the back side of the collar, and then I'll turn it round, reduce it to 5/8 and thread it. So just hacking out this side now. Not far to go now. Actually, when I measure it, I'm aiming for 16 millimeters, not 5/8. So 0.1 of a millimeter difference. I'm just copying the old screw. At the moment, this lathe is turning a terrible taper, so I thought I'd just check this quill. This is a metric gauge, so that's about 3/100ths of a millimetre, and it's repeatable. Now it may be that the MT3 as it's bored in here is in line with the bed, it's just this quill that's slightly off, if you know what I mean. But I'm not happy with it, and in fact recently I bought myself a new live centre because I was seeing these problems, and I'm beginning to think it wasn't the centre. Needs looking at. I'm not going to do it now. I'll finish this job, but later I need to sort that out. You can see I've added the travelling steady this time. I'm only taking 2 thou cuts, which is 0.05 millimeters. So it's going to be a really slow job, and I've got to be ever so quick at the ends, because this would run into the chuck obviously, and that shoulder, and this would run into that centre. So it's all got to keep my eye on it. I'll be here for quite some time, I think. 3, 2, 1, stop, out, reverse, and so on. Reversing. You can see why it takes a long time, can't you? I can't do this any faster. You've got to be so quick at this end, against this tool, against the shoulder. Time to move in a second. Gotta go. I've just done my last cut. So the pitch is 0.1 of an inch or 100 thou, and each crest and each trough is 50 thou. So that's 1.25 millimeters, and the depth of cut is 50 thou, making it a truly square thread. Now the nut goes on a little bit more easily than I would like, but that's the problem with the nut, not with this. Well, that's the old screw, and there's the new screw. And I've just put a copper washer in there. You might just see it sort of poking out a little bit, because this and that face had worn into this, and the handle had worn into this as well. So with that little copper washer there, it means it's got a proper surface to bear against. So that's fine. However, when I put the nut on, left hand, it does have quite a bit of slop in it still. So I've definitely gained some. Have I gained enough? I don't know yet. Maybe not. But a curious thing is, well, this I thought would be 5/8, turned out to be 16 mil, which is what, 0.1 of a mil more, isn't it? But when I look at this, the thread maximum, the major diameter on this is 0.65 inches, which is quite a lot more than I expected. And also I was able to put this onto this well before I'd finished cutting to depth, which was 50 thou. So this is a pretty sloppy nut, whichever way you look at it. Yeah, the new screw is about halved the backlash, so if you remember earlier, if I set that to 0, look, and we had between 0.3 and 0.5 millimeters of backlash, and here we've got 0.15. So it's about halved it by making the new screw. Now I don't know if this is an exact science, but there was half a turn of backlash when turning the handle on the grinder. So maybe it would be quarter of a turn now, but I haven't thought that through fully. I'm just doing that empirically. Just quickly checking this. There's not much wrong with that. That's on 0 there. And it's 0 there. Now I realise the gauge is up slightly, but I'm doing that so you can see it. What if I extend this? Now I'll take it out to the full extent, pretty much that's 4 inches. Just short of, otherwise it'll come off the screw. Clamp. Move this out slightly. Zero. Right, okay, there's the answer. Can you see that? Trust me, with this extended, that is 7, maybe 8 1/100ths of a millimetre. And there's my problem, look. There's my problem. So when I'm running with this extended, this end, of course, is off. Oops, don't do that. You got the idea before I ran that in there. Well, that's what I need to investigate. With the quill back, this is fine. With it extended even an inch, actually, it's a problem. That's already starting to run off 4 1/100ths of a mil. 5, so that's 2 thou. Between there and there with that out 1 inch. Now we know.